Hi friends, Pam Shepherd with Pamela Shep Productions here. And I've been missing in action for quite a while, so I thought I would tell you what in the world is going on. First of all, on July 14th, we heard this noise. My daughter woke up and heard this noise in the morning, a shh sound. And so she said to my husband, she said, Dad, I think there's water. And so he jumped up, and this was at 4:30 in the morning. So they both jumped up and they both checked it out. And sure enough, the upstairs bathroom, the supply line to the toilet was spraying water out. So they went upstairs and immediately shut the water off. And then, so they ran downstairs to see what was going on. And I just stayed in the bed. I thought, well, whatever. So when they came back upstairs, I said to my husband, I said, well, is it any big deal? He said, yeah. I said, oh, come on. He said, no. I said, oh, it is not. He goes, it really is. So the ceiling in the kitchen was just hanging down. The sheetrock was just sloughing off the wall. The water was dripping out of the chandelier over the kitchen table. Every cabinet drawer was completely filled with water in our kitchen. And in the dining room, the whole ceiling in the dining room was awful. The cabinets were full of water. It was a disaster. So immediately he went outside and got the shop vac and started trying to, take care of it. Well, so we all got up, and I mean, my daughter grabbed she grabbed like 4 towels, and she thought, oh, forget it. 4 towels is not going to help this situation. So anyhow, I ended up contacting the insurance and letting them know, and we could see that it was bigger than us, than what we could do. So we ended up having to call the company, and they came out and immediately, well, we had used the vacuum in the water and sucked up most all of the water, and we didn't realize it was in the downstairs bathroom as well. The sheetrock on that wall was kind of sloughing off. And then even the countertops, that we had tile countertops at the time, and the fronts of the countertops fell off even. And the shelves, deal shelves in the kitchen, they were just fell. It was just, I even had, my purse was sitting on the dining room table, and my purse was completely filled with water. So my daughter took it outside and dumped the water out of the purse. Well, of course, the wallet never would zip up again after that. So that was quite the adventure. So the next few days, this company came and they put up these fans. Many of you have probably experienced this in your lifetime. And it was just this loud, horrible noises. These fans were just driving us crazy. So anyhow, after we got the initial part of the fans, they went on for weeks. In the ceilings and everywhere. Then they had to start tearing out all of the material that was damaged. So, you try to have a good attitude, and you try to think, well, thank goodness this is something that can be fixed. It's nothing that, is harmful, and we're not going to die or anything. Well, in the meantime, I wasn't feeling very well. I had what seemed to be a bad cold, and we were going to go camping. One of our girls was coming up from Louisiana, and we were going to go camping, and I just had this horrible, horrible cold, and it ended up, I just couldn't get well, and I couldn't get well. So my kids and my husband all said, you just go in and you go into urgent care and see what's going on, because we can't go camping with you sick like this. So, okay. So I went in and I ended up with pneumonia and bronchitis. So here we have this house that is flooded, and it's this huge, big mess. I mean, everything had to just start getting shoved together. I mean, and then when they started tearing out all of the cabinets and tearing out the floor and tearing off the ceiling and tearing off the walls, and it was just this big mess. And I tried to have a good attitude, because I thought I should just be thankful that we have, a place to live. And there was fires going on, and I thought, well, at least it's not a fire ripping through and just ripping up everything that we completely own. Well, so then after that, I was took this medication for I had to take a antibiotic and everything and get through this sickness. Well, in the meantime, we have this big mess. I mean, I'll put some pictures on here where they start tearing out because it was the downstairs floor for the kitchen and the dining room. Well, it encompassed the living room and the piano room and this room here where I'm at. All the floors had to be completely replaced. So it was just this gigantic mess everywhere. And I mean, stuff was just piled up. Even at one point, the stuff was just boxes. I had to start boxing stuff up, and they were putting it on the sofa. And so I mean, there was only like a section on the sofa to sit. It was just it's just awful. And I was trying to have a good attitude, but oh my gosh. And so finally, a couple of days, I thought it became 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and those fans were going, and the big noise was mess, and stuff was everywhere. So I said, I'm going to go lay on my bed. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought, I'm just going to go lay on my bed. So I did. But anyhow, so we went camping. We had a wonderful visit. I finally was feeling pretty good regarding the pneumonia and the bronchitis. Okay, so then my tooth starts hurting, and it hurts so bad I can't even stand it. So I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see. I thought, well, is it my tooth or is it my ear? What is going on? So I started putting ice packs on my ear and I mean on my tooth and holding it on there and taking ibuprofen and everything to try to help me with it. I have got to get in and see if my tooth is just killing me. So I went in and they said, okay, they did an x-ray and they said, your tooth is cracked in 4 places. And he said, I can't save the tooth. And I had actually had one tooth that was behind that. No, in between it, that was the very back tooth, and the one right next to it, I had a big long story about that one. Had a couple of different root canals and blah, 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 and I ended up losing that tooth. So I'm thinking, oh man. So he said, I'm going to have to pull your tooth. I said, okay. I was thinking that's better than this pain. I can't stand the pain anymore. So I went ahead and they went ahead and pulled my tooth, and he said, I'm going to give you some amoxicillin, because it might have a little infection in it and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they gave me amoxicillin. So I'm allergic to quite a few antibiotics, but I said, okay. So he gives me the antibiotic, and then all of a sudden, I get towards the end of that antibiotic. Now, we're still working on the house. We're having to put it all back together. This is still dragging on. This started July the 14th, and now it's July, and then it became August, and then it became September. Okay, so then he gives me, he pulls my tooth and gives me the amoxicillin. I take the amoxicillin clear till the very last pill. And I said, I am itching so bad, I can't stand it. I'm not going to take this last pill. I'm itching so bad, I can't stand the itch. So finally, I'm scratching and scratching and itching and scratching. And so I get some Benadryl ointment, and I'm doing everything I can to try to help me with this itching all over my body. And I'm just itching, and it's moving from place to place. It moves from my feet to my legs, my arms, my hands, my back, my sides, everywhere. And I'm just itching and itching and itching. And so finally, I just can't even stand it. So I called my doctor's office. I said, here's the deal. When I went back for him it was hurting so bad I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the pain. Because they put they did what did they call that? A bone graft in there. And so I had never had that before. And it hurt and it hurt and it hurt. And I thought, oh my gosh. Well, thank goodness my husband had some pain pills left over from when he had his kidney surgery. So I had to take his hydrocodone. I had to take the hydrocodone, and I mean, it was just killing me. I was trying to take Tylenol and ibuprofen and everything, but the pain was so bad, and I was told him, sorry, my husband's putting a shelf back up in the kitchen. I'll be right back. I can't even stand it. I'm keeping ice packs on it. I've taken my husband's, he had 3 pills left over from his surgery, and I said, she said, well, did they not give you a prescription when you left? I said, no. She said, well, come back in today and let us take a look at it and everything. So I went back into the dentist office and they gave me a prescription for some pain medication to help me through the last, everything would look good. He said everything was fine. But I said, now this antibiotic has caused me to itch so bad I can't even stand it. And he said, oh, really? I said, yeah, it's just miserable. So I ended up having to call my doctor, and I went in. I said, I am just clawing myself. My feet are bleeding, my arms, my hands. I've got I had my chest all, with hives and itching. And so I went into my doctor's office, and she gave me prednisone. And so I took those for 5 days. And in the meantime, I started taking some Benadryl also to try to help me with all this itching. So it got so bad. I took all 5 days of the prednisone, 2 of them a day for 5 days. And I had to keep taking the Benadryl with it because the itching wouldn't stop. And so I was in just misery. So finally, more weeks went by. We're still trying to put the house back together, working on all of it, getting the flooring put in, getting the sheetrock put in, finishing the sheetrock, painting the sheetrock, getting the cabinets in, everything, put back together. And so I went in and she gave me the prednisone. I took the prednisone. I finished the prednisone, and I'm itching so bad that I can't stand it. I'm just clawing myself, and I'm in misery. I'm putting ice packs all over myself wherever I'm itching. So finally, last week on Friday night, I think it was, my esophagus started hurting me. Well, actually, my esophagus started hurting me just a little bit after I started taking the prednisone. So I thought, well, was it the prednisone that made my esophagus sore and awful? So I ended up, I started just sipping on, what's it called? No, the pink stuff, Pepto-Bismol. I started just sipping on it just so it would just gently go down my throat. And I started drinking just barely warm water. And I started drinking very cool water and very warm water. Well, my esophagus got more sore and more sore. And it started hurting me so bad that it was hurting my back. Okay, so here we go. 70 years old, here we are. And so we're trying to get the house all put up in order. Oh, in the meantime, my 94-year-old mother-in-law fell and broke her arm. So she broke it right across here. So she has to come and stay with us because she can't stay by herself with a broken arm. So here she is in the middle of all this loud fans, stuff being concrete floor now because most of our floor was torn up. So we've got my mother-in-law with her broken arm, me getting over my pneumonia and bronchitis, and now I have the tooth that's been pulled with severe toothache, and now I'm allergic to amoxicillin on top of all of this. So here we go. And so then on a week ago, Friday night, I was in so much pain. I said, John, I think I'm not okay. I think I'm not okay. My esophagus hurts so bad. I can't even swallow my own spit. So, okay. So he says, well, I'm going to call the ambulance. I don't want you to die during the night. So I said, oh, please don't call the ambulance. I don't want to call the ambulance. So we waited and waited. And finally, he did call the ambulance, and they came. And basically, I think they were making sure that I wasn't having a heart attack. Because, in women, a lot of times, I guess, well, when my sister had her heart attack, her back hurt the most. And she needed people to rub her back and help her with her back. So anyhow, so they did take me into the hospital. And when I went in, the doctor explained to me that I have now I'm using, I was just using regular mascara, and I'm using waterproof mascara. He explained to me that I had what was called hypersensitivity to the amoxicillin. And he said what happened was I took the full dose up to the last pill. And then he said it was like a mountain where it goes all the way up the mountain really, really slow, and you're itching and having all these symptoms and everything, and then it comes down really, really slow down the other side of the hill. So he said, he said, we're going to, and even though I took prednisone from my doctor, he was going to try to just, you know, bust it all out and see if we couldn't get a better situation going. So he gave me a big high dose of prednisone that night and a prescription for prednisone for 10 days. And then he gave me, he told me to take Benadryl. The highest dose for adults can be 25 to 50 milligrams. He told me to take up to 50 milligrams. And he told me to take Pepsid because he said Pepsid has an H2 blocker. I think that's what he said. And so he said that would help me not itch so badly. And then they gave me what they called a cocktail that they had me to drink. He made sure that it didn't include membranes or something like that. But he had me drink this cocktail, and it caused my esophagus to be numb, which was such a relief. It felt so much better. It felt so good to have a numb esophagus. So anyhow, I continued to take the prednisone for all. In fact, today's the last day. They had me take 2 a day for 10 days, and then 1 a day and 1 a day. Today's the last 1 day. And I am still having to take the Benadryl and the Pepsid because I am still having some itching, and I'm trying to do better. But that, my friends, is what has been going on. That is why I haven't been doing video. I actually did 2 videos, and I thought, you know what? These videos are so dumb and stupid. I'm not going to... I am not going to put these up. So I didn't put them up. But let me tell you this. Let me tell you what. In the midst of all of this, I have to tell you, when we redid this house, when we first moved into it and got it, I never did really like the floor. But, you know, we put it in, and it was a pretty big deal. So we left the floor the way it was, of course. And since we had to replace everything, and thank the Lord, we had insurance. So, I mean, I got really good deals. I really did look for good deals and good things to fix it all up. I mean, I didn't want to just do stupid stuff. But let me tell you, in the midst of all of this mess, I really do have a very pretty kitchen now. And I loved my kitchen before. And you know, I was happy. Everything was great. But in the midst of all of this, you know, my mother-in-law, she's healing. She's been a little bit discouraged because it seems like a slow healing. And she's right-handed, and she crochets continually. Well, she can't crochet with a broken arm. And so she has been, I got her some really good Christian books, novels, some really good Christian novels that she could read. And she actually has been enjoying those. We've actually, all of us have done really pretty good. You know, it's been a crazy time. It's just been a crazy time. I mean, I'm so thankful. It could have been a lot worse. Nobody lost their life. And I don't know. I am really going to be working on, I'm working on my grateful journals. I told you I was going to show you decorating them. And I am going to show you decorating. I've been grouting some of the tiles, so I still have some of the grout on my fingernails. But I'll show you how pretty my kitchen is. And, you know, we have so much to be thankful for. And I feel bad those days that I was really having a rough time. I mean, I was just really having a rough time. Everything was such a mess. Everything. I said, it's one thing to live like pioneers because we didn't have a kitchen at all. So we had to cook everything outside. We had a little cabinet out there with a countertop, and we put the coffee pot out there and the toaster. You have to go out there and cook everything. And we did actually eat. They had those McDonald's $5 meals, which McDonald's really close to us. So we probably had a few more of those than we should have had, honestly. But I don't know. I'm so thankful that, you know, that we're all okay and everything's fine. And even in the midst of all of that mess, you know. Of course, now I have to do something with this tooth because he said when you have 2 teeth missing down there at the bottom, you can't have 2 teeth missing because the top ones have to have something to. So you either have to have the, you know, have a graft or no, what's it called? Implant. You either have to have an implant or you have to have a partial or whatever it's called. So I'm checking on the prices of all that, trying to make a decision on what we're going to do. And I don't go back in till, I think I go in October 3rd for them to check and make sure everything went well with the bone graft or whatever it was they put in there. So, but anyhow, everything is really, actually, everything is doing well. We are all okay. Mother-in-law's healing, house is being fixed, and I'll put some pictures. I'll try to put some pictures of the yuck where we had so much junk and then had everything now is good. I'll try to see if I can do that. Sometimes it won't upload the size of the picture or something, but we'll try to do that. But anyhow, so I will be doing my videos again. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It helps my videos. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And God bless you. And I'm so sorry if you've ever had a flood in your house or anything like this. But just hang in there. Even though sometimes things seem awful and then they get okay. I don't know. Anyhow, God bless you all. And you have a super good day. And I'll talk to you on the next video. Okay? Bye, friends.